Do you think that encouraged staff to actually have to work together more?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because I think there have been times, and I do know, and my hope for every program out there is that nobody's left on a ship by themselves, but I know it happens sometimes. But, and when you feel like you're the only one that's making the decision, how isolating and scary sometimes that can be, and where that can then fall kind of into being a little more rule driven then, because I don't have this other person to bounce something off of. So I just, that we had to kind of work more together and talk these things through more before sometimes some decisions were made.
And so, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it required us as administrators to make sure that our people are really well trained, and they do know how to respond, they do know how to have those conversations, and that we also trust that if you,
Right.
if you're alone and you make a decision, you know, unless it's crazy, you know, I'm gonna support you, and maybe if it wasn't exactly how I would have done it, we might talk about it later, but you're not gonna be hung out to dry if you're following the core principles of what we've talked about.
And very similar, that's what I was going to say, you know, we have the same kind of concept of when you're on shift, you run your shift, and you make the call. And if, you know, in the light of day, when I can sit down and I can hear what it led up to it and what you did, maybe I would suggest you did something differently the next time, but there's no punitive because of it, you made your choice. But the other thing that our staff made the decision to put into place was, can I have a backup person for me? Sure can.
Yeah.
And so, you know, everybody said this is a good idea, so it's really not on call, but
Yeah.
it's I'm here by myself and I'm struggling with this, and, you know, if you're the primary advocate, let's say, and you're the one that's my contact person this week, can I call you and discuss this with you, and you give me a little bit of feedback and direction, and either confirm for me, because I'm not sure,
Right.
or say, you lost your mind, you ought to do it this way, and then we go from there. And so just to have that, even if I'm by myself, I still have somebody, and I think that made a lot of difference as well.
Right. And I think that what it helped us also do, because people were, you know, were doing this work, concurrent to the rule project, I think for us, then we started to really be intentional about looking at the impact, you can call it secondary trauma, vicarious trauma,
Yes.
but just it's inevitable that this work is going to impact us.
Mhm.
It's going to impact how we go about providing services, how we respond as that advocate working in shelter,
Right.
and that there's these extremes. And it may be to one extreme, I may have that feeling like I'm the only person who cares and can help this person, and maybe my boundaries, my professional boundaries kind of go out the window, and I'm maybe using a little bit too much discretion.
Yeah.
To the other end of the spectrum, which made it really difficult for some, was that you become rigid and, you know, everything is in black and white, there's no, you know, flexibility. There's no, you know, your ability to have this complexity of thought, to be able to problem solve, that goes away. And it's the work, it's
Yeah.
the exposure. And
Yeah.
so I think we really had to be able to step back instead of thinking about, you know, kind of like, again, trauma informed, instead of, you know, what's wrong with you,
Right.
what's happened to you, and apply that to our staff as well.
Yeah.
And that has to be, I think that any program that's going to be doing this work has to be very intentional about that, and being able to provide those organizational supports to their staff.
Absolutely.